Das Avatar Stotra. Das Avatar Stotra. It's all about that you can sing the song, he did sing it himself. He did himself sing the song on occasion on the appearance day of Krishna's death. So the Brahmana Day was one of the Das avatars mentioned here in this song. 10. The 10 avatars, prominent avatars that appear in this universe. This is from Jayadeva Goswami, and it's the only song Prabhupada indicated we could sing of Jayadeva's songs, because they're considered to be a very high level of revelation. But this one is so we'll sing. What we'll do is, it's a long song, we'll sing together if you don't mind, because it'll take too long. That means no repeating, just one line. Have you found it? It's like I'm saying, I sing, we'll sing all together. Okay, Shiva, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmin. All glories to you, O wonderful dwarf. By your massive steps you deceived King Bali, and by the Ganges water that has emanated from the nails of the lotus feet, we deliver all living beings within this world. Notice Krishna is not mentioned because he's avatari. these are all expansions of Krishna for various reasons. Some are within the realm of the material world, some have their eternal form there. Both forms are eternal, even the one in this world. Also their equivalent form there in the spiritual realm, the same as that which appears like Odvaram, for instance. But most of them are assumed. They take on the form for various purposes within the material, but they're eternal within the realm of the pastimes manifest. And that last verse, text 12, summarizes the previous verses. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Baba Girivardhari. Shishi Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Vamadeva Piyate ki jai, Gauranga Janananda. All glories to the Son of devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Grand, all glories to Shri Papa. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhakti Dev, Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Namaste, Namaste, Devi Gauranga Prachara, Namaste, Shri Radha Constitution. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Vedanta Shri Vasudev Govardhana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody this morning. I think it's Sunday morning, is it? Sunday morning, the day of rest. I also feel like joining the majority there. What to do? What to do? And today is a very auspicious day. It's a very, very auspicious day today. Special Dwadashi today. It's not an ordinary Dwadashi today. Called Vijay Dwadashi, victory. And on this particular Dwadashi, this is the day when Lord Vamadeva defeats Bali Maharaj. It's a very special day. Lord Vamadeva appeared at midday. So generally on these days of the appearance day of the specific avatars, which are listed in Bhagavad, but we generally fast. But because yesterday was a Ekadashi, so there will be some breakfast this morning for the devotees. And of course it's Sunday, so you have a Sunday program?
Not today. No, we had it actually yesterday. We had a Saturday program.
Feast yesterday. Well, that's how it works. Okay. Saturday night out, and Sunday you can rest. That's nice. Sunday is a day of rest. Okay, so it wasn't a day of rest for Lord Vamadev. As such, it was a day of pastime. But anyway, he appeared, and normally there's a feast on this lunchtime, midday. Many Gaudiya Vaishnavas, maybe the Vaishnavas too, they fast entirely, and the feast would actually be tomorrow. So there will be a feast tomorrow, because tomorrow back to the Notakel's appearance day. We have a big feast here tomorrow. Yeah. Hundreds of devotees will come for the noon program tomorrow. There'll be a big feast. And there will be a big feast, I think every day this week is a good reason to have a feast. What is it the next day? Haridas Thakur's disappearance day the next day? Yeah, and Tuesday that'll be, I guess. I haven't got my calendar here, but I assume, I don't know. But on that day, Prabhupada said you should fast till the evening. On Haridas's Tirabhava. You know that? In the voice said, it's because of Haridas Thakur. Prabhupada said, no, it's a Mantra Chaturdasi. He midway through the Chaturmasya period. So that time we should fast. Different stories of Lord Divine. Turning over in his sleeping period and so on and so forth. But nobody ever did it. And maybe some devotees do it, but it never got implemented within ISKCON, and neither did Prabhupada for it. He said actually you should fast. It's like on these Vishnu Tattva days. Strict Vaishnavas don't eat at all on these days. They fast, break fast. They may even fast. Tomorrow is another festival day, so you can fast for 5 days if you want. Break fast on Wednesday or something like that. But Prabhupada didn't do that, and we don't do that. The main thing is we try to glorify those personalities. We're not here just to give up, we're here to accept. So to hear about Krishna, to hear about his devotees is a recommended thing on these particular festival days. And today, of course, many devotees return to their homes and been very busy the last couple of days, so obviously not so many devotees are here this morning. But still, it's important to hear. So this, I thought that we just briefly summarize a little bit of the pastime, just a little build up, and then just hone in on a couple of verses with some interesting points. The topic is very big, and the Lord appears in this world. Is one of the reasons he appears, besides to establish religion, remove demoniac influences and so on, enliven his devotees and so on. In the line of enlivening devotees, Prabhupada said, he performs amazing pastimes so that we have something to remember. He could get rid of any demon without even thinking about it, practically. He doesn't need to come personally. He comes to perform pastimes with his devotees, and also to give us, the conditioned souls, opportunity to become purified by hearing his pastimes and so on. So that's one positive reason. I would like to read a verse from I'll just summarize first if I can remember. Difficult when you're very tired, but we'll try. In the ongoing, in this universe is ongoing, you could say, rivalry between the demigods and the demons. This is part of this material, the duality. So generally the demigods come out victorious, and they did come out very victorious previous to this. And more or less they killed, even Bali, who was at that time the leader of the demons, was killed by the demigods. but he was revived by his spiritual guide. Even demons have spiritual masters. Maybe they're not devotees of Vishnu, but they're spiritual guides at least. And his spiritual master was named Shukracharya. So Shukracharya was very powerful, an expansion of Lord Shiva. So he was very powerful, and he was able to revive Bali Maharaj and bring him back to as whatever. And in this way, Bali Maharaj became very much dedicated to Shukracharya and worshipped him as a guru. And Shukracharya was very pleased that he was in the line of the Bhrigu dynasty, and all the various Brahmins, powerful dynasty of Brahmins, they all supported or gave their assistance to Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj became very, very powerful because he was pleasing the Brahmins. He was even the demons, most of them, most of them knew the Vedas. They even knew that Krishna was their enemy, that he was classified as God, but they hated him, and they were trying to kill him in general. Bali Maharaj was not that type of demon. Well, he was born in a demoniac family, but he didn't have a demoniac heart. He was the king of the demons because he was born in that family. He himself was not demonic. He was actually a hidden devotee. So anyway, he was worshipping the Brahmins and very charitable and so on. They engaged in performing many Ashvamedha sacrifices to attain power, to conquer the universe, basically. And after some time, he amassed a very large army of demoniac soldiers. They then started to usurp, they started to conquer the universe, and eventually came to the heavenly planets, Indra's abode. And when Indra saw them coming from a distance, they were already on the outskirts of the kingdom, and he was very concerned. He'd never seen such a powerful army led by this effulgent Bali Maharaj, who he thought was dead, was now more effulgent than his son. He was very powerful, and everyone could see he meant business. He had been given or awarded by the Brahmins in the Bhrigu dynasty with tremendous power, almost unconquerable, almost by material means. So Indra was very worried. He went to his spiritual master Brihaspati for advice. Brihaspati advised him. He said, "Look, right now, time is against us. There's no way you're going to be able to defeat him right now. The best thing is to get out of here." So he advised Indra and all of his demigods, not all, I mean Brahma and really high ones, not in this different plane, but the general heavenly demigods. He advised them all to become invisible so they could not be seen and to go incognito. So they disappeared from the scene, and Bali Maharaj very easily just entered into the heavenly kingdom, took over Indra's throne, took over the kingdom of heaven. So he basically conquered all the planetary systems of the universe, not including the very high ones, Loka, Kapaloka, and all that kind of stuff. But up to that point, he conquered all these planes of living entities in the universe, up to the heavens. Indra's abode is the only termed as the heavens. So he conquered all the aircraft and demigods. Out of a job, you can say. They were unemployed, more or less. And it wasn't a very good situation, especially the mother of the demigods, whose name was Aditi. There were two sisters, Diti and Diti. Diti was giving birth to demons, like Hiranyaksha and Kashipu. Aditi was the mother of the demigods, of Indian mothers. So she was very disturbed. All of her sons are now, like any mother, have lost their jobs. And they're struggling. Like any Indian mother would be very unhappy if her son is not working. Every son, Indian son, has to have a good occupation, a wife, a home, this, that. Every mother, especially Indian. And so she was very disturbed, so what to do? She was praying and hoping that somehow they'd be reinstated. Her husband approached her husband, Kashyapamuni, who gave her this sacrifice called Payavata, sacrifice which she performed austerities and so on, some period of time. She performed it very faithfully, as he said, and even Brihaspati had told him that the only thing that can save you now is the Supreme Personality of God. And so, with this in mind, Aditi performed the yogas, this Payavata sacrifice to Vishnu. And eventually Lord Vishnu appeared before her. And she expressed her desire. She prayed to the Lord to help her to reinstate her sons in their position in the heavens. So when the Lord agreed to become her son, there was no one else could really affect this desire or fulfill this desire. So he agreed to become her son. And sure enough, through the course of time he appeared at this auspicious moment. Abhijit, the middle of the day, on this very auspicious occasion. When he appeared, he had 4 arms. And there were all the symbols of Vishnu, so everyone was confident this is the Lord who's appeared now to fulfill that desire. Very auspicious moment with cattle drumming, so on and so forth. It was unseen to the demons, this is all going on. Demigods were incognito, but they all appeared there, and they all awarded. This young boy then transformed himself into a beautiful dwarf. Dwarf meaning a young Brahmin boy, like the dwarfs that we see walking around sometimes. But in this case, he looked like a young boy. We called him dwarf because he was very small. But he was young. He looked like a young boy, a Brahmachari boy. So then he was awarded with all various kinds of items by his mother, his father. Mother gave him various underwear, and his father gave a belt. And different demigods gave various items. Deer skin, pot for begging Kuvera, and she was consort, and Bhagavati gave his first alms in the begging bowl. Like this, they all gave various things, a stick, a carrot stick, so on and so forth. So he looked like a really very effulgent and very wonderful young Brahmin boy. So his intention, of course, was to reinstate the demigods. He'd taken it, and now he's going to give it back. Sometimes the demigods need to be taught a lesson too. We also sometimes in our lives, let's take a good example. If any of you have gone for, I saw Matsya just doing books yesterday, right? Yeah. On the street. And I don't know if anyone else here, Manu was doing a few books, I think, too. And other devotees. And every book distributor knows that as soon as you start thinking, wow, I'm really good, I'm doing very well here, I'm on top of the situation here, what happens next, Manu? Nothing happens usually for hours on end. And you get people coming up and giving you all kinds of hard times. You get medications, you think it's signed and sealed, and at the last minute no, it's okay, I'm off to go. Something goes wrong, and after a few hours you think, oh my God, what's happening here? It's a common experience that Krishna gives and Krishna takes away. He's trying to help us. But one of the main lessons in this whole pastime of Brahma, we'll hear later on, not now, is related to this experience. So Brahmadeva's decided now's the time to reinstate the demigods and take away Bali Maharaj's false position and his property, what he thinks is his property. So we're going to read from the 19th chapter, text 21, and this is So let me see where we're at here. Okay, we'll just go a little bit further on the introduction. So Vamanadev then appeared on the scene. Bali Maharaj at that time, when Vamanadev appeared, was performing a very, very powerful yajna with all the Brahmins of the Bhrigu dynasty. And they were assembled. If you've been to Gujarat, this took place in Gujarat. Anyone from Gujarat? No, from Gujarat? You're not from Gujarat? We had a West Bengali here yesterday. Where's he gone? Is he
Back to Bengal.
back to Bengal? That's good news. It's the end of that troublemaker. So if anyone's from Gujarat, you will know very well. There's a river there, a famous river, you may know the name. What's the famous river in Gujarat? Many famous rivers in India. In Gujarat particularly, there's one very famous river called the River Narmada. River Narmada. Very big river. And there's one town there, and if you're from India, you'll probably pronounce it differently. It looks like Bharuch. Yeah. It's right on the river Narmada, on the northern side of the river Narmada. That's said to be the place where this yajna took place. It was called Bhrigu Kach. Now it's Bharuch. Almost the same. And this great yajna said to have taken place in that, what's now seen in that area. Brahmins of the Bhrigu dynasty, the Shukracharya, and this yajna was to give them almost, nothing's infallible in this world, but as infallible as you can get power to remain in their position. So, of course, the technicals were really worried about this. 100 Ashvamedhi yajnas. That means he becomes Indra. That's it, full stop. He already done it. Now it's even more powerful. So, what to do? So, it so happened that Vamanadev appeared just as they were about to begin. This great meal. So when Bali Maharaj saw this little Brahmin boy coming, he thought this was very, he was a fortune like many sons. Entered into the arena as a sacrifice, and this is what even the demons used to do in those days. They didn't play these gross sports that you do nowadays. Even they would be performing Vedic yajnas, and they were. Life was a little different, I suppose. But usually they also knew that by giving charity to Brahmins, even though they didn't believe in God, and they believed it existed, but they wanted to kill him, they knew that they would get blessings of Brahmins and gain powers. So Bali Maharaj was very charitable, because he came in the line of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was his grandfather. His father was Roshan. He was also very, very charitable. He gave up his own body for the Brahmins, in fact. His line, maybe not so much with Rani Action and Rani Kashipu, also to some extent it was there, but from Prahlad Maharaj and Rochana and Bali Maharaj, they were very, very charitable. Very attached to that, giving charity to Brahmins particularly. So saw this Brahmin boy, he immediately was very impressed, attracted to him in fact, very attracted to him. So Bali Maharaj was thus wanting to give him charity. You've come at this moment, an auspicious moment of my good fortune. Please, please, can I give you charity? Very auspicious actually, a yogya, the opportunity to give charity to a very qualified Brahmin. Very auspicious, it's considered to be a very good sign. So he wanted to give charity to Bali Maharaj, and you can ask for me anything you like. And Bali Maharaj said, oh, okay, just give me 3 steps of land. He was a little boy, maybe a couple of feet tall. Just give me 3 steps of land. And how much would that be? Maybe 1 meter or something like that. Not even the distance between me. Not even that far. 3 steps of land. It's peanuts. Not enough to grow peanuts on. Very small piece of land. So Bali Maharaj was thinking, what is this? I think because you're very young, and although you can obviously see you're wonderful, a fortunate Brahmin boy, but perhaps because you're very young, your intelligence is not yet matured. When people approach me for charity, no one should have to go away without completely having all they need for the rest of their life. As for me, whatever you wish, I can give you property so you don't have to worry anymore. You can have everything you need for the rest of your life in this world. I need 3 pieces of land. I can give you planetary systems, whatever you want. Bali Maharaj replied, Ramadev replied, oh my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. Giving somebody correct philosophy here. Isn't that amazing? And this very simple one line here summarizes basically the frustration of everyone in the universe. For one whose senses are uncontrolled, nothing can satisfy you. Even if you've got the whole universe, you want more. Never satisfied. And Prabhupada said, commenting on Bhamanadev's statement, the material world is an illusory energy to deviate the living entities from the path of self-realization. Try to remember that. Its business is to deviate us. We can divert it towards Krishna, but generally the energy is one of deviation. Anyone who is in this material world is extremely anxious. You ever noticed that? They're never satisfied, eh? They always want more, a new one, a new belonging. Actually, however, the purpose of life is not sense gratification. It's meant for jivasya inquiry into the absolute. It's not meant for karma, sense gratification. Not meant for sense gratification. Human life is not meant for sense gratification. It's meant for inquiry into the nature of the absolute truth. That should be the goal of all our work. Not just working hard to get more sense gratification. New car, new house, new everything. New body. That's what we get from it. They work very hard. You have to work hard to go to hell. In one sense. Become implicated. Therefore, those who are too addicted to sense gratification are advised to practice the mystic yoga system or Ashtanga yoga system consisting of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and so on. In this way, one can control the senses. We hear Prahlad Maharaj preach this to his dad also, didn't he? Strada thought he conquered the universe. Prahlad Maharaj said otherwise. You haven't even conquered your own senses. Actually, the real business is to conquer your own senses, not to conquer the universe. And people don't realize that. They think the goal is to fulfill my sense desires. Some or other, whatever it takes, conquer the universe. Keep trying to fulfill your desires. He said, no, it's not. Conquer your senses. And people try to control their senses. If in this way one can control the senses, the purpose of controlling the senses is to stop one's implication in the cycle of birth and death. In other words, we're controlled by the senses and they drag us from lifetime after lifetime all around the universe. Lord Rishabdev said, Nunam pramatak kurite karma. He just got back from West Bengal.
Yes, Maharaj.
They told me you went to West Bengal.
Ganga was chock-a-block.
That was too clever. You just came back from the Ganga.
Crocodiles in there.
Crocodiles. Many crocodiles in the river. Whiffy?
Whiffy. Whiffy, liffy.
A lot of whiff down there.
Ah, yeah.
Nunam pramatak kurate karma yarindriya pritaya apinoti nasaramanye atmanavam asanapi kleshita ashiteha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sins. They do anything to try to get some sense gratification. Tastes good, within reason. I mean, if they know it's going to be harmful for them, they might restrict themselves. Not everybody. Some people, even though they know it's harmful, they still can't resist it. You know, they write it on the packets of cigarettes, don't they? Smoking. It used to be cigarettes may be injurious to you. Yeah. Then it became cigarettes cause health problems. Then it's like cigarettes are bad for your lungs. Then cigarettes cause heart problems. And then cigarettes, you know, on and on it goes. Now it just says smoking kills. Stop. Too late. Smoking kills. And still people smoke.
And they have pictures now. They have pictures of the disease, the effects of the disease on the box, big pictures.
On the box itself. Still people smoke. They don't. They're called mad. That's what madness means. They know it's not good for you, but still they do. Can't resist them. Mad, uncontrolled senses. No one's, what are anyone doing about controlling the senses? Nothing much. Just trying to fulfill the sense demands by giving more promises, more false promises. This is Maya. The leaders of society are also in the same bracket. They're not giving no hope for the people. They just feed them sense gratification to get their votes.
Mm.
We will reduce taxes, we will give you more, pensions, we will give you more education grants, we will give you more houses, we will give you more facilities, more jobs, more money, so you can enjoy more. And as soon as they get in power, they put the taxes up, right? They reduce the pensions, they slash the grants. As soon as they get in, they just immediately increases the taxes. Well, that was a ticket for coming in into power. The first thing they do is increase the tax. The people just don't cash it, it's just cheating, isn't it? When a person considers, he does not know that due to his past misdeeds he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. It would be wonderful. Therefore, I think it's not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Sense gratification. Yehi samspashaja bhoga. What does that mean?
What's the first line again?
Yehi samspashaja.
Yehi samspasha. Contact, happiness which is due to contact with the material senses is limited and temporary. Yehi samspasha jabo. Dukkha yonayate. Atyanta vanta konteya.
Really, sense what's going on.
Atyanta. Atyanta.
Oh, don't rush, but just get the time finished.
The happiness which is born in contact is limited in temporary. Those who derive happiness from sense perception. Nate shuramate. They're not intelligence. Nate shuramate buddha.
Those intelligent, they don't go there, right?
Yeah.
They don't take pleasure in this sense. They say, no, this sense gratification has a beginning and end, is the cause of misery. We think, okay, it's an immediate cause of relief, isn't it, with the drug. You take the drug to relieve the itch. And then it comes back much worse afterwards. Until sense gratification is like that. It's you get caught and you can't go back on it. It's never ending, more and more and more. wise person does not take delight in this sense gratification, the objects of the sense. He doesn't delight in these things. He knows they have a beginning and a cause misery, so he doesn't waste his time in that way. Thus, according to Rishabdev, the human beings in this world are just like madmen, engaged in activities which they should not perform, but which they do perform only for sense gratification. And people may even know it, at least theoretically know that this is not good. You feel it in your heart, still you do it, driven by lust. Lust. Lust is basically the opposite of love, in reality. Lust to try to enjoy for yourself, love is to bring pleasure for Krishna. That's real love. And people are not enough. They don't have that understanding. Unfortunately, they're not educated. And they don't accept it even if you try and change. Such activities are not good because in this way one creates another body for the next life as punishment for his nefarious activities. They don't learn. I mean, this type of... Parikshit Maharaj rejected Shukadev Goswami's suggestion that you have to atone for your sins. He said, what's the use of that? Because people still want to sin. They don't want to suffer the reaction. They still don't want to give up their sinning. No one can completely stop sinning, but at least we have to recognize it and follow the religious directives to deal with it. But they don't want to do that. And as soon as he gets another material body, he is put into repeated suffering and material existence. Therefore, the Vedic culture, or Brahminical culture, teaches one how to be satisfied with possessing the minimum necessities in life. We're supposed to, like that verse recorded earlier, human life is not meant for sense gratification. One should just live a healthy life, just with what you need. Ishyalasami dam sarvam yatkincha jagatin 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 bhujtam movidakashashiram. What does that mean?
Everything animate and inanimate is owned and controlled by the Lord. Therefore, one should accept those things set aside as his quota, and not accept other things knowing well to whom they belong.
Yes, what we need. Quota is what we need. We have a human body with various talents. We should act according to that, and accept only what we need to sustain that particular situation, not more. In this way, one can progress towards the spiritual path if we follow the religious directions. And utilizing so the same thing is said here. Now we have to be satisfied with possessing the minimum necessities of life. People are never satisfied because they want the maximum. They're called anarthas. Unnecessary. Mostly the things people want. They say they have no money, but in many cases people spend most of their money on unnecessities, useless stuff. So many perfumes, different things, medicines because they're so unhealthy, because they don't live a healthy life. They eat rubbish, they don't walk, they're irregulated, dirty, and so many things cause kind of environmental, social issues. And people's health is mentally and physically bad, so the money goes there. Like anything, they work 100 miles away, they have to have a car to get there. And everything, they have to have all these various clothes because of their lifestyle. 100 pairs of shoes. Some ladies, they just can't avoid buying things. All the time, I've been in used to go to these houses. Every day there's another parcel coming from Amazon. There's rubbish in it, another clothes, another, something. What's that? The latest cover for your computer. Throw the other one away. A new mobile. No money, and they're walking along with an Apple iPhone. And very soon they've got no money. No job. And he's got an Apple iPhone in his hand. You get that? Maybe pinched it. To teach the highest culture, Varnashram Dharma is recommended. The aim of the Varnashram divisions, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, is to train one to control the senses and be content with the bare necessities. Big topic. Here Lord Vamadeva, as an ideal brahmachari, refuses Bali Maharaj's offer to give him anything he might want. He says that without contentment, one could not be happy even if you possessed the property of the entire world or the entire universe. That is described, I don't know if it's described here, I haven't read it. The Brahmin, brahmachari Brahmin, is especially one who is content with whatever he's got. Not a Brahmin if you're hankering for more. And you need facilities externally and so on. Brahmin is one who is content with whatever he's got. It's like Janananda Pandit. He lived there, simply didn't, as soon as he was offered something extra, he immediately left the kingdom. Brahmin is not greedy. In human society, therefore, the Brahmin culture, Kshatriya culture and Vaishya culture must be maintained, and people must be taught how to be satisfied with only what they need. In modern civilization, there is no such education. Everyone tries to possess more and more, and everyone is dissatisfied and unhappy. Krishna conscious movement is therefore establishing various farms, especially in America, to show how to be happy and content with minimum necessities of life and to save time for self-realization, which one can very easily achieve by chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. And just read the next verse, there's no purport to it. Brahmanadev continues, if I were not satisfied with 3 paces of land, then surely I would not be satisfied even with possessing one of the 7 islands, consisting of 9 varshas. Even if I possessed 1 island, I would hope to get others. It's the nature of this world. We don't really belong here. No matter what you get, it doesn't really fulfill one's inner desire. So there's one lesson to learn, important lesson. And of course, eventually, Bali Maharaj agreed to give. Okay, if that's what you want, so be it. And when giving charity, of course, normally one does Janananda. It's a whole thing. It's not just here you go, take this. But it's like an actual offering. You're offering it to the Brahman. You're offering it to Krishna. You don't just like stick it on the altar. Eat this. Respectfully, okay, so here's a funny story, isn't it? He was about to perform an achaman in order to make this offering. Listen, Shukracharya told him, don't do it, don't give him anything. You're going to lose everything. You're going to be, don't do it. And Bali Maharaj said, no, I promised to give. I can't go back on my promise. There's many lessons to it. He fears, but he said, and Shukracharya tried to reason with him. If giving charity causes a disturbance to the family, he wasn't proceeded with the Om, all kinds of different things. He said, you're not obligated. You just don't understand. This is going to be a disaster for your whole family. You don't give a promise. He tried to reason. He said, no. I said, no, I promised. He said, don't you realize this boy is your avowed enemy? You used every tactic you could to stop him. And then Bali Maharaj thought, well, all along we've been offering yoga and one of the personalities of Vishnu, and everything, no. So he actually rejected the instruction of the spiritual master. In this case, when the spiritual master becomes atheistical, opposed to the objective goal of Vishnu, yogi of Vishnu, that is one case you can reject the spiritual master. And Bali Maharaj said that, there's one thing in this universe, or at least on this planet, Earth planet. Mother Earth can tolerate anything, but she cannot tolerate a liar, or one who breaks their promise. So we could tolerate, in our dynasty, we studied various personalities who were great personalities who will not break their promises. And even Aranyaksha, they were powerful personalities, and very many good qualities in one sense. Besides different persons like Maharaj Shibi and Ratidev and others who obtain eternal fame by giving charity. We see in the Bhagavad Gita, one has been fame, infamy is worse than death. So he was very attached to that, maybe really materially, but very attached to keeping his promise, maintaining his righteous fame, so to speak. And he refused to follow the spiritual master's instructions. So the spiritual master, Shukracharya, it wasn't so much that he was really concerned about his development. As such, he was in one sense more concerned about his own welfare, because if Bali Maharaj loses everything, then Shukracharya is also pretty much destitute, out of a job, And the Brahmins there, nowadays many Brahmins are like Sudras, they're just employed, they're paid, and even sometimes it's like that, I don't know exactly, but sometimes they become attached to the service because of the money, not the service. I know one case of that. One was asked to send some devotees to a temple to help with the daily worship once. And one devotee was a Brahmin and wanted to do daily worship, and he sent him there. They wouldn't let him do it because the others are getting paid. And if he does it, then they won't get paid.
Maharaj, one time I was looking through some quotes. I was asked to do some kind of Brahminical job for one temple that's up and coming, so to speak. And I researched Prabhupada's quotes on doing marriages for people that are not initiated members of, or not initiated members. And Prabhupada said, you can let them use the temple, but they have to bring their own priest to do the ceremony, because they're not our initiated members. And you're taking the karma.
Yeah, there are many different quotes, details.
Yeah, I was wondering, my question was, could you have any counter quotes or something like that? Because that's the one that I have stuck in my head. That's what I kind of judge off.
I'll leave that to others. This is another important subject, you could say. Controversial subject, you might say. Touchy subject, you might say. There are many different quotes, and the Prabhupada said Brahmins should never take a salary from teachers. Brahmins should never take. There are many. These are certainly the proper situations. Everything's topsy-turvy. There are many quotes you can say even about the rules and regulations of brahmacharis, grihastas, sannyasis, and how many follow strictly speaking. We understand that's how it should be. And as much as possible one should do. It seems that it's not always easy to maintain all the various ideals. We should definitely try to, and should institute something other than a program to establish the ideals. There are many things you could talk about in that regard. We'll leave that for another time. So we're moving on here.
Shukracharya
Yeah, so then Shukracharya, this is the story that goes, it's not there all the time. But then he, being a mystic, he had mystic yogic powers also, so he reduced his size and he entered into the pot when he could actually have this little kettle. And he blocked the entrance so the water couldn't come out and entered in there, so Maharaj just, no water's coming in, and what's happening, so it made a block or something. Bali Maharaj took a needle and he pushed it down the water spout, and it apparently pierced Shukracharya's eye, and blood was coming out. You see these pictures. This is anyways a funny little story. But he was so determined to fulfill this promise that he made. So sure enough, eventually he did. And then what did Vamanadev do? Little kid, how much, nothing to worry about here, what are you worried about? Shukracharya first thing he said, you're going to If you do this, you're going to lose everything, and I curse you, you go down to the lower plants. The Maharaj, despite that, he went ahead. So Ramadeva then expanded himself a little bit. He grew a little bit, like a frog in a well or something. He suddenly expanded himself so large that he, practically speaking, his body covered the entire lower and middle planetary systems. One step he took, finished. The lower and middle planetary systems were covered by his first step. His second step, whoosh, he covered the entire heavenly planets. Nothing left. You said 3 steps. Where am I going to put my third step? Come on. Not yet. Not yet. Be worth it. Everything's gone. Can you imagine what a shock? What a shock. Everything's gone. Krishna expanded the universal form. He covered everything. Everything was within it. He saw the whole universe is within the form. Right. Where's the first step? You've broken your promise. Arrested. So Guru got arrested by Maharaj with ropes of the room, tied him up. Humiliated like a dog. Tied up, bound up with ropes. And Maharaj, head down. Totally humiliated. Totally defeated. So he said, my Lord, I cannot break promise. There's one thing. Please put your foot on my head. Take your third place. Put it on my head. He put his head down. Ramdev, famous picture, puts his foot on the head of Bali Maharaj. In this way, he's famous for fulfilling his promise, surrendering everything. He's not Atmanaveda. One who gave everything. He gave everything. Gave everything for the Lord. Surrendered everything, including his own body, to the Lord. Well, Brahma is very pleased in that sense. Of course, he had to go down after a while to the lower planets, but the Lord Maharaj appeared on the scene also, his grandson. And a wonderful, wonderful scene here. He became glorified for his act of surrender. And as you may know, he did go down. Lord Ramadev selected a Sutala planet for him to go to. And he said, I will also go with you as your doorkeeper. I will be there always with you to protect your temple. You will also eventually become Indra for 30,000 years after your time in the lower planets. Prahlad Maharaj went down, everyone went down with him. And there's two more little things I'll mention. Many things, 2 more things. We're going to move on to chapter 22. 22, text number 20. Let's see. Yeah. When he was in that situation, Brahmadev, he was tied up. He surrendered the universe. Lord Brahma appeared on the scene, done to glorify Lord Rama and so on. But as Brahma was just about to speak, Bali Maharaj's wife, Vindhyavali, was naturally very disturbed by the whole event. She was kind of out of the picture, and everything's been lost. She'd lost all her shoes, all her saris, all her jewelry.
Amazon account.
Amazon account. Lost her Amazon account. Everything was lost to Vanadev. Naturally, she's very disturbed. I even asked her, imagine a wife gave everything away without asking. Even Manu Prabhu, if your wife went out shopping, she came back and saw there was absolutely nothing left. And there you were, tied up with ropes. She might be happy. But normally, the wife would be wasn't even a frying pan to hit him on the head with.
Yeah.
So she was also a little disturbed. She was a little fearful what was going on also happening here. And she went to her husband. Srimati Vinjavali said, "Oh my Lord," she's talking first to the Supreme Personality, Krishna, the Lord. "Oh my Lord, you have created the material universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes." Another aspect. But foolish, this is the most important point of the whole pastime. Don't miss this one. To me, this is the most important thing in the whole pastime. You have created this universe for the enjoyment. I don't know what's going on here. It needs maximum attention, otherwise you're going to miss the most important lesson to learn from this pastime. You'll never get out of the material world unless you're going to say. But foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think they can give charity and enjoy. In such a condition, what good can they do for you? You are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe. This is going to take a lot of effort on your part.
Maharaj, could you read that sentence again? I just got. Could you read that last sentence again?
I might have to read everything again because non-stop there's interference going on here. Oh my Lord, this has been Javali. Maybe the door can be closed.
Yeah, if you're going to move around, go in or go out, otherwise it's distracting from Maharaj.
Pardon?
I'm saying go in or go out because it's distracting.
Go in?
Go in or go out because it's
Yeah,
distracting.
it's very distracting. I can't concentrate myself. This is the key thing. Oh my Lord, can we close the door, please?
Yes.
Vinjavali is speaking.
Please stay quiet. We can't hear you. Back after us.
Oh my Lord, you have created the entire universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes. But foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think they can give charity and enjoy. In such a condition, what good can they do for you, who are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe? And Prabhupada writes, Bali Maharaj's wife, who was most intelligent, supported the arrest of her husband and accused him of having no intelligence. What the opposite to what he's thinking. She accused him of having no intelligence. We always see him as being the greatest example. And in Javali it said, you have no intelligence, you are a foolish agnostic. He called her husband a fool, an agnostic, no intelligence. Because he had claimed proprietorship of the property of the Lord. Such a claim is a sign of demoniac life. Although the demigods who are officials appointed by the Lord for management are attached to material enjoyment, they never claim to be proprietors of the universe. For they know that the actual proprietor of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the qualification of the demigods. But the demons, instead of accepting the exclusive proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, claim the property of the universe for themselves through demarcations of nationalism. This part is mine and that part is yours, they say. This part I can give in charity, and this part I can keep for myself or my own enjoyment. These are all demoniac conceptions. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. Idam ajya maya labdam, imam prapsye manoratam, Thus far I have acquired so much money and land. Now I have to add more and more. In this way I shall be the greatest proprietor of everything. Who can compete with me? These are all demoniac conceptions. Bali Maharaj's wife accused Bali Maharaj by saying that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead had arrested him, showing him extraordinary mercy, and although Bali Maharaj was offering his body to the Supreme Lord for the Lord's third step, he was still in the darkness of ignorance. Actually, the body did not belong to him, but because of his long-standing demoniac mentality, he could not understand this. He thought that since he had been defamed for his inability to fulfill his promise of charity, and since the body belonged to him, he would free himself from defamation by offering his body. Actually, however, the body does not belong to anyone but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whom the body is given, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 1861, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Videshajana Tishtita. The Lord is situated in the core of everyone's heart, and according to the material desires of the living entity, the Lord offers a particular type of machine, the body, through the agency of the material energy. The body actually does not belong to the living entity. It belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Under the circumstances, how could Bali Maharaj claim that the body belonged to him? Thus, Vinjavali, Bali Maharaj's intelligent wife, prayed that her husband be released by the Lord's causeless mercy. Otherwise, Bali Maharaj was nothing but a shameless demon, specifically described as Chitvahiyas Vadharvarupita Kartrivadaha, a foolish person claiming proprietorship over the property of the Supreme Person. In the present age, Kali Yuga, the number of such shameless men who are agnostics, disbelieving in the existence of God, has increased. Trying to defy the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so-called scientists, philosophers, and politicians manufacture plans and schemes for the destruction of the world. They cannot do anything good for the world. And unfortunately, because of Kali Yuga, they have plunged the affairs of the world into mismanagement. Thus, there is a great need for the Krishna conscious movement, for the benefit of innocent people who are being carried away by propaganda of such demons. If the present status quo is allowed to continue, people will certainly suffer more and more under the leadership of these demoniac agnostics. So the lesson to be learned there is that Bali Maharaj was still a fool because he was thinking, as Vinjavali said here, that I have something to give. What do we have to give? In the Nectar of Devotion, there's two categories given. I can't remember exactly what bracket they come under, but one is one who surrenders everything. And Bali Maharaj is known for that as being Atmaniveda. He surrendered everything. From the material perspective, yes, we are on the material platform, so that's seen as a karma yoga or something. Good karma yoga. There's another one called a surrendered soul. Surrendered soul is maybe a little different than one who surrenders everything. It's the highest stage. The soul who realizes that everything that exists belongs to Krishna. I belong to Krishna. The only thing you have to give is to give up the false conception that anything that exists is not meant for Krishna's pleasure. Everything that exists is meant for Krishna's pleasure. It is his property, including us. Everything is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. Not a question of giving and therefore pleasing oneself by fulfilling one's promise. I did this. In other words, the mentality of me and mine. Giving up this mentality of me and mine. This is mine to give. Even the talents we have, where do they come from? I am the ability in man, not mine.
We often hear at the start, you surrender everything, but you don't surrender your intelligence. Then Krishna says, I'm the intelligence of the intelligent. How does that work? I mean, but we're still persons though as well, so we must have something.
You have to follow the intelligence, I guess. If you don't have any intelligence, you have to follow the intelligence. Arjuna lost his intelligence, he followed Krishna. He accepted Krishna as his intelligence. Krishna is giving intelligence to everyone according to it, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So if you want to misuse your intelligence, Krishna will give you intelligence in that way also. If you want to come back to him, he'll give you intelligence in that way also. He gave Bali Maharaj intelligence because he was still proud, he was still thinking he was a proprietor, so he gave him that opportunity to surrender his body, so-called his body. And he thought he was feeling good. Now I feel good. I fulfilled my promise. He's not necessarily thinking about my platform. He's thinking of his own.
Could I just press on that one again? Just, but what do we have? What is it that we have?
Krishna. Prabhupada said the only thing you can say is yours is Krishna, nothing else.
Who are we that has Krishna?
Well, you have to find that out. Right now, it's not what you think we are. We're still trying to contain Krishna within our mind and senses. What is Krishna? Everything. He's everywhere, he's everything in one sense. Love. Pure love. Waking pure love.
That was really interesting. You reminded me of this. Krishna is the intelligence of the intelligent. And then yesterday I was listening to Prabhupada and Prabhupada says, Krishna is giving us the intelligence. And then I was connecting it to that verse, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam, Hridya Arjuna Tishti, Brahmayan Sarva Bhutan, Yantra Rudani Maya. That's like a machine, the body's like the machine. Krishna is directing the wanderings. So I was recently using an analogy of Krishna's body is like a car, Krishna is the taxi driver, the mind is the steering wheel, and the body is the senses. We are the passenger in the car, the front seat.
Passenger or front?
There's 3 back seats passengers.
3 back seats.
We are the one in the passenger seat. There's 3 back seat passengers. That's the 3 modes of material nature.
And they're driving there.
Well, they're influencing the individual passenger, and then he desires, and he says to the taxi driver, "Bring me to the place where ignorance." So it's like, so then Krishna is actually one driving, and what we have, the only thing we have, is our desire, our free will, which mode we associate with. So if we listen to Tamaguna, then we'll tell Krishna, I want to go to drink some Guinness. And if I listen to Rajaguna, I'll go to the stock market and make some money. And if I listen to Sattvaguna, I'll be in the park doing meditation. But it's the modes influencing the Atma who's desiring Krishna.
Wonderful example.
But then Krishna says, I am the intelligence, as Manipur is saying, I am the intelligence
and
of the intelligence.
Krishna Vana Krishna Krishna Sankirtan Intelligent men in this age of Kali worship the Lord through the performance of Sankirtan. That's the intelligence.
Yeah.
That's the intelligence, Sankirtan. Even if it's going to a park or a forest or a beautiful place, whatever it may be. The really intelligent person listens to the Lord. And here he's telling us, Sankirtan. Drive that car on Sankirtan. Whatever the modes say, whatever your desires are, listen to Krishna's desire. And go on Sankirtan. Right?
Yeah, that's a good quote.
Huh? That's the real intelligent person.
So if ego is above intelligence, then
if ego is above intelligence,
then how we can cultivate true ego, because it is not in our intelligence to do that.
What is true ego?
I am a servant of Krishna.
Yeah.
I'm a servant of Krishna. How have you come to this point of doing some service to Krishna? Let's say we have false ego, but somehow or other now, you may still have false ego, but somehow or other you're trying to engage in service, is it not?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
The mercy of higher
It's true what you say, you can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. You're under illusion. Identifying, looking the wrong way. So how does it go? So if a man's blind, how is he going to cross the road?
Take the hand of a person who sees.
You have to have guidance, and you have to accept the guidance too. That's the difference. The guidance may be there, but you have to accept it. So that's another influence, you could say. Somebody who's blind, somebody whose intelligence is connected to Krishna. That's the essence of even material life. I mean, you don't know somebody, you have somebody who knows. It's very difficult on your own. You need help. Everyone needs help on the spiritual path more than anything.
It's just a practical example. You're talking about the backseat. One of the backseat drivers is the mode of ignorance, and he's saying, I want to go for Guinness. But actually, it's funny. Yesterday, you gave the example of Yogesh Sankirtan prior. There's a chap that you met actually. His name is Vikesh.
Pardon? Chap you met?
You met yesterday. His name is Vikesh
Vignesh.
Vignesh. Yeah, he was at the Guinness factory or something, towards that direction, down that way. And then he heard the Sankirtan, and so he came back.
Came over.
And we were talking to him yesterday. I went over on the bus with him last night.
He came here afterwards too.
Yeah.
I remember his name, he was quite impressed.
Yeah.
I remember he was from He was from Pune. He didn't know Vignesh. He was very good devotee. And he was drawn by the Sankirtan. His intelligence was being diverted to the Guinness Stout, and then some of the Sankirtan party attracted him. The other way.
It's a really interesting example of the Paramatma from that verse. The Paramatma is the driver. But then, as you're saying, Maharaj, if the Sankirtan is going on within, then the modes, they can't grab a hold of the soul. Because the Atma is connecting with the Paramatma and saying, please engage me in your service. And if that's the loudest vibration internally, these modes can't influence.
Why does Prabhupada say again and again, the only safe place is Kirtan? Why does he say that again and again?
The modes can't catch you.
As long as you're in Kirtan.
Pardon?
As long as you're in the Kirtan.
Yeah.
That's why more Kirtan, more chanting and hearing about Krishna. Safe place. It's the only safe place. There is no other safe place. There's no other shelter in this universe. No other shelter. Even Jiva Goswami said, only in Kirtan. Other processes are there, but the risk factor is higher. Kirtan is the safest of all the processes. Safest. The last thing we'd like to mention is another last verse, and I will finish. In this wonderful pastime, I haven't isolated, I can't know exactly where, you can look it up. I clicked my mind, I was a bit tired this morning, surprising after yesterday. Body Maharaj surrenders the universe. What's that verse spoken by Sri Krishna? Lord, the whole pastime, the demigods regain heavenly planets. Here it is. Here it is. After Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, everyone's gone down. Lord Vishnu asks Sukracharya, interesting question. Sukracharya is playing a role, by the way. The Lord addressed Sukracharya, who was sitting nearby in the midst of the assembly with the priests. He He said, O best of the Brahmins, Shukracharya, this is Lord Vishnu speaking to Shukra, please describe the fault or discrepancy in your disciple Bali Maharaj, who engaged in performing sacrifice. This fault will be nullified when judged in the presence of qualified Brahmins. He's asking, what's Bali Maharaj's fault? And then Shukracharya replies, My Lord, you are the enjoyer and lawgiver in all performances of sacrifice. And you are the Yoga Purush, the person to whom all sacrifices are offered. If one has fully satisfied you, where is the chance of discrepancy or faults in his performance of sacrifice? Now Shukracharya is like turning, the other way, you could say. Maybe to save his neck, I don't mind. Not really, he's just, now his real nature is coming. And then the famous verse, perhaps the most famous verse in this whole section. Many devils miss it because it's not in the chapter directly dealing with Bali Maharaj. Mantratas tankatash chidram desha kalara vastutaha sarva karoti nishchidram anusankirtanam tava. He says, there may be discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras and observing the regulated principles. And moreover, there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, person, and paraphernalia. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. It's a very famous verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kela. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There's no other way. In this age of Kali, it is extremely difficult to perform Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or sacrifices perfectly. Hardly anyone can chant the Vedic mantras with perfect pronunciation or accumulate the paraphernalia for Vedic performances. Therefore, the sacrifice recommended in this age is Sankirtan, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Yajna Sankirtanam Praya Yujanti Hi Sumedasana. Instead of wasting time performing Vedic sacrifice, those who are intelligent, those who possess good brain substance, you hear this? Those who are intelligent brain substance should take to the chanting of the Lord's holy name and thus perform sacrifice perfectly. I have seen that many religious leaders are addicted to performing yajnas and spending hundreds and thousands of rupees for imperfect sacrificial performances. This is a lesson for those who unnecessarily execute such imperfect sacrifices. We should take the advice of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Yajna Sankirtan Praya Yajanti Sumedasha. Although Shukracharya was a strict Brahmin addicted to ritualistic activities, he also admitted, Nischidram Anu Sankirtanam Tava. My Lord, constant chanting of the holy name of your Lordship makes everything perfect. In Kali Yuga, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies cannot be performed as perfectly as before. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has recommended, although one should take care to follow all the principles in every kind of spiritual activity, especially in worship of the deity, there is still a chance of discrepancy. And one should compensate for this by chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of God. In our Krishna consciousness of the movement, we therefore give special stress to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in all activities. Hare Krishna. Again, intelligence, by chanting the holy name, your false ego will become cleansed. Your intelligence needs to perform Sankirtan, which will cleanse our false ego, and everything else will naturally fall into place. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Ramadev ki Jai. Yes, we came to break the false ego of Bali Maharaj. All of our false egos. think we have. When Peter Maharaj was approached by the four Kumaras, the fourth canto. Peter Maharaj, of course, is a partial expansion of Godhead, but still, when the four Kumaras came, he immediately wanted to offer them whatever they wanted. They were Brahmin, like Brahmana, young boys. But he said, actually, I have nothing to offer because it's already yours. I'm just like a bank manager. Everything belongs to you, but out of your mercy, you're too busy doing more important things. You allow us fallen Kshatriyas to take responsibility to look after your property and manage your kingdom, because you are representatives of God, the Supreme Personality. And I gave an example. You put money in the bank, but the bank doesn't own it. Although maybe nowadays it's changed, but that used to be the case. Terrible, you know. They think you haven't got any say on it. In New Mayapur, one of our devotees went to a local bank last year. She wanted to withdraw, no, she wanted to deposit 200 euros and said, where did you get this from? Where did you get this money from? They want to know exactly where it came from. They don't let us draw out more than 200 euros in any day from the bank. They won't give us a check. It's not your money. We talk like this. Well, it's changed, isn't it? We used to look after it for your money. They used to pay you for looking after your money. They use it. They use it to make money. But nowadays you have to pay them. A lot of money. Terrible. And they say, we're giving you all these nice facilities, cars, this, that, the other. It's all cheating. All cheating. People don't see it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Shri Vamanadwarashi ki jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai, O Premanandi.
His Holiness Janananda Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai.
Thank you all for your association. I don't know what we'll see next, I don't know what we do, or what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? People work at book distribution.
Oh, yeah.